taking a look at a Masters 4 venture game for Mr. Banana Dagger, nice name, who says that he's having trouble coordinating pressure with his team, cooldown usage, and knowing where to set up. Okay, so pretty much talking about the basics of flanker style heroes. The venture is obviously a short range flanker style hero. She can live on the flank a lot. She can provide pressure over time. If you play your positions well, you can do a lot of damage with your M1s. You can control enclosed spaces, very similar to a Junkrat, because it's easier to hit your M1s. And that's gonna help you, especially when fighting other flankers. If you're fighting, say, a Tracer or a Genji, you have a much easier time controlling enclosed spaces, rooms than they do. You have mobility and sustain because your abilities generate shields. You can use those abilities to get into certain positions, or you can use them to disengage. You can use them to engage and generate shields, so you're a bit tankier. And you can also, if you cannot be a threat of a kill, you can just distract. You can pressure, as I said, you can pressure from a short angle, or you can just distract. Sometimes when you don't have an opportunity to go in on a backline, you can just burrow and drill below the enemy team so that the supports cannot easily look at the other members of their team. They have to look at you because you might pop out of the ground, right? So even if you end up doing nothing, sometimes you can use your cooldown cycle to just generate pressure by distracting and pooping people while you're borrowing, right? When it comes to venture matchups, I already sort of covered the flanker matchup. You're basically playing to poke the flanker out if you have good use of cover, or if you're in an environment that is beneficial to you, such as an enclosed space, that's easier. And it's important that against flankers, you don't use all your cooldowns to commit, because at that point they can chase you down. So you need to have cooldowns to get out when you're playing against divers. When it comes to poke, it's just about closing the distance. And you can do that either by, again, cover usage, pathing smartly, so being creative with the way you approach people. That depends on like the options that the map gives you, or using your cooldowns. If you can avoid using your cooldowns before engaging, that's even better. Spilo calls it, I think, passive value. So for example, if you're just up here, pressing your M1 and shooting people down here, that's gonna force attention, that's gonna force people to turn around, and that's gonna force cooldowns, right? So if you pressure from a position like this, where you're safe, and you're close enough to do significant damage, then you're probably going to force cooldowns. If they have less cooldowns than you do, you're on an advantage. You can choose to drop and commit for a kill, or try to get a kill. You can not use your cooldowns, drop and then use your cooldowns to get out. You have a choice. And in general, the team that has a better cooldown trade in general wins in the long run. I don't think there's anything else that I should cover before we get into this. Obviously, there are nuances with the way you use your borrow and your drill, but I'm only going to cover those if I see fit. So if you have any questions regarding venture in general, feel free to let me know. When it comes to coordinating pressure with your team, usually the easiest way to do it is just to look through the walls at your team. Your team has blue arrows. That's not blue. Your team has blue arrows around them, and when they're taking fire or they're engaged, the arrow turns yellow. So that's one telltale sign to know that your team is engaging. A better one is to just listen for cooldowns, because in most team comps, there are certain cooldowns that when they're being committed, that means that the fight is starting. So for example, if we were to look at the team comps here, if you see ring, if you see like javelin spin, maybe, or fortify is better sign. If you see recall, if you see cooldowns that sort of force the enemy team to engage, or if you see the enemy team walking past an important corner, then you can tell that the fight is going to start, or the fight is happening right now. And you need to be close enough to your team that you can assist them in the fight. Cooldown usage and knowing where to set up. I've already covered the where to set up part. Ideally, short range angle, high grounds are good because you can just drop on people. High grounds allow you to close the distance onto people easily, when otherwise it would be pretty difficult. So I've already talked about the bridge area. it's pretty easy to control it because it's an enclosed space. So you can just shoot your M1 in the middle and it's gonna hit whoever is trying to contest you. And it gives you the opportunity to poke frontline from here or to poke backline from here. And you can drop onto the bus and you can poke, and you can go here, you can poke from here, you can go around, or you can just sit up here and do loads of damage, right? I think this is the best position for you to play in at the start of the game. Because if you are here, you're too far away, you have the opportunity to flank, but you have that opportunity by playing on the bridge as well. Sometimes the longer range heroes play here, so you have an easy opportunity to get close to them and force them away. So this position, it's like a hybrid, jack of all trades. You can do a lot of things from here, right? So I would like to see you roll out on the bridge. Here, you need to realize that you're the first person here, right? Because you're the fastest on your team. So you would ideally, even though you're pretty tanky, ideally you don't want to be the first thing that the enemy team shoots, that the enemy team sees. You want to take advantage of the fact that you have a big fat guy on your team, and they're going to use all their cooldowns on the big fat guy, and they're not going to have cooldowns to peel you out, right? So you should just let your hog take the aggro first before you engage, and you should engage from a different angle so that, again, you force attention, you force cooldown, you create pressure, an angle like this. And if you are here, you would poke the Tracer out. The Tracer cannot push you in this tunnel. If she does, she's going to have her recoil forced instantly. So here we're already a bit early. You take a lot of damage. Find a close angle. This is not bad, but if you were here from the start, you would have put a lot more pressure on the enemy team. And even here, I'm not really sure you need to go default to the Orisa. You could go here and poke the Orisa from here, and if the enemy team tries to push up and help her, then you zone the enemy team by doing this, or by shooting from here, and then you can deepen this way if you want to. If you want to go for a flank. Again, it's really easy for you to leave on the flank as long as you have your cooldowns. This is okay. Again, I would have liked you to go here and cut their disengage route, right? Because you're gonna be running backwards from your team. And they're gonna be running in your crosshair, in your effective range, if you're drilling up here and then just walking this way. And if you take a lot of damage, you just borrow, and you wait for your team to push up, and then you pop out the borrow. But this is okay as well. Now, for the next fight, the bot is probably gonna be around here. Your whole team is alive, so you can probably play a position like say here or here or even down here, wait for them to drop and then shoot them in the back, drill dash back out this way. If you're here, you need to just hide until the fight is happening around this area, and again after that just pressure. If the backline is playing on top and the core is playing on the bottom, you can also just drill up here and then borrow and pop out, do a lot of damage, drill out towards their spawn. There are a lot of options because this map has a lot of flanks. So this is fine, this is fine. Even waiting here is okay, even though if the fight happens here, this is too far away, right? Waiting here is fine. Few options, right? I don't want to see you stand on main because you're just gonna get poked out, right? They don't do damage from here. Yes, they have a junk, but the 1v1ing a junk is not that hard for you, especially if you catch him with his pants down. Against this guy, you never want to poke. You need to get close to him to do effective damage. So this, not good. This is a sniper angle. Oh, sorry, the junk is on your team, I'm stupid. And it's pretty much the same with the Mei. The Mei really outpokes you really hard at range. No, I'm dumb. This is your team, sorry. Anyway. So I don't like that you go back to your team right now. You should be setting up for the next fight. And just disrespecting the echo. That's nice. Go in the room. Go in the little room. They can't push you in there. This is the same thing. The only person that's fighting on your team is you right now. So you need to realize that you're not gonna get a kill right now, right? you're gonna do 100 damage and you're gonna get your cooldowns for. So this is bad use of your cooldowns because it doesn't achieve anything. You're using it to bail out, to bail yourself out, and you need to bail yourself out because you were fighting without your team. I would literally just waiting here. You don't need to do anything right now. They have to touch because otherwise your team is gonna get the checkpoint. So once they get the checkpoint, they're gonna respawn closer, and it's gonna be harder for the enemy team to like push the ball because you're gonna get less fights. So even if you want to be here, this is still fine. This is still good damage against an Echo. And when they drop, they're gonna get poked out by you, right? I think this is even better because you're just point blank range, lethal range, but putting closer to your team is fine if you prefer that. So I think being sneaky before the fight is good. If you catch somebody on a flank and they don't know you're there, you can one-shot them, potentially. You can one-shot the Tracer at least. And even if you don't one-shot them, you're going to force them to go back to their team, at which point you can either, when you force the Echo to go back to your team, you can either go back towards your team and assist in the 5v4 with the tank, or you can deepen and pressure backline even more and hold the attention of multiple people. This is just a bit too far for you to do anything. That's okay, because everybody's far away. So here, if you don't want to go for the Orisa, you could use a cooldown cycle. You could borrow, or you could drill dash, you could borrow, and you could just dig below the Ana. And then you could pop out close to a corner. This is one of those small micro details that are good to know with Venture. If you, if you're trying to engage with your, ways to use borrow, right? You can obviously use borrow to disengage. Even though the time to enter the ground is pretty long and you can sometimes get killed in that time, you can use it to engage. And this is useful. That is not engage. This is useful when you're playing brawlier comps or comps that want to all in. So sort of like a ball tracer, or if we talk brawl, could be like Mauga who wants to slam and use his cardiac, have good synergy with Mauga, or maybe a Ryan that's spinning in. You go first with borrow. You borrow in, and then your tank goes in, and when your tank goes in, you pop out, and that creates a cleave. You split the enemy team and you force them to turn around, so you create an opportunity for your tank to engage without taking a lot of damage, right? You can use it to engage, you can use it to distract, and when you use it to distract, when you don't want to engage with your borrow, ideally you're gonna come out near a corner. You can use your explosion thing close to a corner so that you do damage, but you can also immediately pivot to cover. So we are talking about distracting the Sana with borrow. You could borrow, you could like do circles around her, and then you could pop out here. And that's a very good position for you because it's close, you have cover, and ducking in and out of cover and using your M1 is going to force the Ana sleep or the Ana nade, and it's going to force her to go this way, which she doesn't like because she's in the open. Right? She might get like headshot by the Mei and so on, right? And once you force this guy out, you can go for this guy, you're going to push to the Ana. That's okay, this is good because you're still on the angle. This is fine. That's good. I think this is okay. They're kind of far away. What you could do is you could borrow up here. You could borrow up here, and you could go here and shoot them, right? You don't have to go head on. I understand that it feels very uncomfortable. It feels bad to sort of approach them head on, and that's normal. That's why angling is a thing in this game, right? Because they're paying attention to, so if you're there here and you're borrowing towards them, they're obviously paying attention to you. But if you're up here, they either pay attention to you, in which case they have to turn away and not do damage to your team, or do you look at your team to do damage and then they're not looking at you, right? So if you want to keep pursuing backline, you could just pop out here and then go this way, and this is lethal. This is a great angle for you. But shooting horse here is like low risk, low reward. She gets old, she dies. It's all fine. I would go high ground here. That's good. You do it a bit late, so you lose a lot of damage, so you lose a lot of HP, and now you should deepen, because your hog is pushing up. We were talking about timing, right? Our hog is pushing up, the enemy team is going back, he's about to look for a hook, right? So if the hog is pushing, we also push. Setup-wise, you could lurk in here. They're probably gonna forget that you're in here. By the time the fight breaks out again, the fight is probably gonna happen around here. This is what you should do after every fight with any character with any dive character. Setup matters, right? So and even with characters like characters that poke, it's still good to think where the fight is going to take place, because you can take an angle, you can be on an angle that is good for where the fight is going to take place when the fight takes place, right? If you like take a bad angle, if you take an angle like this and you get forced out, you might end up on a bad angle when the fight starts, and you're not going to do much, you're not going to contribute a lot, and your team might lose because you're like AFK, right? I'm gonna try to go a bit faster from now. I think this is fine. Being here would also be fine. I think high ground is good. Probably the best option. And you can stay. It's hard for the Junkrat to push you, and it's gonna require one of his supports to assist him. At which point you can just borrow, hold his attention, and then drop. If you're forced to drop. But I don't think you need to give this up, because now, like, look, now he can tire your team, or he can just go here and shoot at you, and this is gonna force Ice Block, or it's gonna kill the Mei, because I'm pretty sure she used Ice Block already. It's gonna do a lot of damage to your Hawk, gonna do a lot of damage to your Ana, so it's your responsibility, especially in Masters. You need to understand at this point, in this rank, people are gonna fight for angles, so it's your responsibility to sit here and just poke the Junkrat. As much as possible, try to avoid his spam. You don't get 2-shot by him, because you have... well, do you get... I think you do get 2-shot, but you can use your cooldowns to get more HP. Either way, you should hold the angle. This is too open, you're just fighting in the open. There's no pressure on the enemy team because all their threats are in front of them. This is better. And 2 people chase you, which means that your team is at a man advantage. They use ults, women. We use ults, women. They use 2 ults, we use 2 ults. Actually 3 ults. So this is okay. Looking at the micro, if we were to comment on display how you could perhaps make it better, you don't need to do damage to the Ana with the Barrow explosion. You could just go here and do the same thing, right? Threaten the damaging the Ana. And if anything, right now, it's fine. She has sleep, so I don't love this. Oh, she doesn't have sleep, then it's fine. Now you have her ult. Ulting from a flank is really, really good, because it puts a lot of pressure on the enemy team to move away from you. You do a lot of damage, right? That creates a crossfire with your team. That puts a lot of pressure on the enemy team. This is fine. Even at this point, I would check once my tank walks up, which they will eventually. My tank is walking up. I would check if this is free. Again, this gives you very easy access to backline. This is okay, I guess. You're just pressing Q. Or is that waste her ult? Okay. Same thing here. I'm not gonna reiterate where you should be playing. This is good. Keep shooting, keep shooting. I don't like the fact that you drop here. You can literally just stay here and shoot. And if you want to damage the queen, you can just stay here and shoot. Since you're 2 down, I mean, you're probably just dying card, which is fine. Yeah, great. You get a trade this correct play. Take the high ground again, please. Take the high ground. If you want to go for Diana, you can. You're 1 down, but the echo's far away. Well, they have ults, and you don't, and you're probably not gonna get out unless you have ring. I think it's if you're talking with your team in voice chat, you can either go for a trade right now. You can ask your Hog to, like, your Hog is just probably gonna stay on this corner, right? While the Hog is stalling, you can go for a flank and you can look for a pick here. This is at least gonna force the Ana to drop. If you all want to disengage, then it's fine as well. But it doesn't look like your Hulk wants to disengage. So this is the same problem. You see how the Juno takes the angle, and she's probably gonna get a lot of torpedo value here, right? You need to be contesting these flanks. And you're not contesting them for the sake of fighting the Juno, you're contesting them because it also gives you a good angle. Good trade. Fighting right side is very good. Remember what I said about enclosed angles? It's okay. Now you need to look around and see if anybody's supporting you. You're in a 2v2. And if you wait for your... I would play for my Juno LOS, I would go for the Echo here. I'm not sure she has flight. She does. So you coming out of power is going to force flight. And then you can play on this corner. You can get pockets from your Juno. You play the corner, right? You play the close range angle and you do a lot of damage to Queen. That's unlucky. This is, you're engaging too early again. You need to let your team, you need to let your tank take the aggro. If you want to drill anywhere, you should be drilling here, because you can do a lot of damage to Queen from here, and you're safe. Well, the difference between being here, like engaging here, and engaging from here, is that you can get slapped, you can get naded, you can get stickied, whereas you can't be hit by those abilities if you're here. And if the Queen is like looking at you, it's more likely that she's gonna get hooked by the hog, right? The Queen would love to play this cover so she doesn't get hooked, but guess what? You're here to poke her in the ass, right? You distract her so she still gets hooked, but... And even against a Bastion, I would much rather have you here, poking him, right? That's good. This is interesting. It's okay. Yes, this is good. You just mess it up mechanically, right? You wanted to drill out the window, that's good. That's a good attempt to like clutch up the fight, right? Because you're distracting the enemy team. Your Sunbreak gets a kill. If you live here, our team is back. I mean, our team is still fighting. So if you live here, there's actually a chance that we can re-engage and win the fight. The plan was good. I don't love this. Honestly, the Queen is alone. Like, we've seen you focus tank a few times in this VOD, which is fine, especially when the backline is too far away to reach. And this is one of those examples. The backline is too far away. The Sombra is gonna just translocate out. This Queen is isolated. You should be shooting the Queen with your hog. You're not gonna kill them here. And the Queen is just shooting, pushing card for free. You gotta trade, but it's not really super valuable for us, because we trade 1 for 1 and they still have... where's the Queen? Or she runs out. Actually, it's a 1 for 2. You're essentially fighting a 2v4 with your Sombra, as opposed to just forcing the Queen out. Your Sombra would have died anyway, but I don't feel like trading is super good here. You should trade when you lost one, right? And you want to equalize the battlefield. Your Sombra is just picking a stupid engage. She has bad timing because our whole team is fighting the Queen on point, right? You want to trade when you lost one early, or you lost one in the ult fight, and you're looking for something to equalize, right? To help you stabilize and help even out the numbers. It shouldn't be like your top. It shouldn't be your number one strategy, because that means that you're also no longer a variable on the battlefield, and you're the most consistent variable on the battlefield because you're you, right? You can control what you're doing. You can control what any of your teammates are doing. This is fine as long as you don't hard commit here because you're in a 1v3. You're probably gonna lose this fight anyways because of the queen ult. That's good. Yeah, you can go back if you want. Just go kill the queen. Go in the window, nice. Keep going, please. I don't know what you're scared of. If you go here, you're gonna force Diana to pocket the Bastion. Or maybe you even kill the Bastion if Diana's not paying attention. Barrow, nice. You probably wanna distract them and borrow either inside and then drill out this way, or go back high ground. Because the fight is going to happen in like 5 seconds once the hog drops and Arana looks for a nade. So you want to be like here or here or here in the next 5 seconds. It still creates a lot of space.
Adaptive circuits engaged.
It was a bit early, what you did here. The idea was good, but if you look from the overview, right now you're borrowing, right? Our hog is dropping. And you're still fighting a 1v4 here. You could have just went back in the window. I don't think the idea was bad. I think it could have potentially worked out. I think you got a bit unlucky with like the way you tried to escape. You could also just go this way, by the way. And you would probably live here. You probably, if you want to go this way, you should have drill dashed higher so you get to the stairs faster. But even then, you might have gone slept, right? So I think the best bet to leave this is just drill dashing this way. And if they push you, then you have help from your team. The difference is that here you're fighting a 1v4, and here, if you're here, you're fighting a 4v4. Because the Bastion is out of the fight, right? That's okay. Now, you need to look at the battlefield. When you have downtime like this, you are under no pressure. You need to look at what your team is doing, right? So our hog is ulting, Arana's here, our Juno's close to back, and our Sombra is dead. So this is a 3v3 right now. It's winnable. You could just go here, shoot the queen, shoot the Juno, drill dash out. And if you see an opportunity for your ult, as long as you have a bit of HP and maybe one cooldown, then it's reasonable, very reasonable to go for it. The problem with this is just you disengage and then you pop ult. You need to pop ult from an angle, from a short. I mean, it doesn't have to be super short because you have range on your ult, but you need to be popping your ult from an angle, because if you pop it from here, they can just all run away. If you pop it from here, they can't just run away because your team is also pressuring, right? Venture is really easy to disengage, so that's why you need to have a good angle for it to work. This is good. We look at your team. In the downtime, always look at your team. Good angle. You can even go on the bridge if you want to. That's good. Great. This is very good. Perfect. Okay, now we wait for our cooldowns. We need to wait for our cooldowns. Play your cover. Take the angle. Oh, yeah. This is the same problem, right? You feel like you need to use your cooldowns to get close to people because you have subpar setups. If you just walk this way, you can get closer to Diana. You just need to stay in the room and then look for something. You can, and it's better to borrow. I think it's better to borrow and then drill out, because you get to use your drill twice. So it's borrow, drill, pop out, drill this way. Stay on a short angle where they can't push you. Just kind of throwing yourself at them in the open. Okay, last fight. It's also running out of time. Only you and Sombra are fighting right now. Again, we're looking for cooldowns like hook, like shout, like ring, like nade to tell us that the fight is starting. Your hog missed the hook, so if your hog missed the hook, he's out of the fight, right? And you're fighting a 1v4 again. And look at what your backline is, right? Look at where the bot is. If you were to stay on a position, you should just stay here. No need to drop. You drop. If you want to drop, you should drop when the fight is starting. So like right now, for example, when they're using shout, you can drop on the backline if you want to. You could also just be here if you wanted to. You could be here. And then you can go this way again. Talked about this before. You're alone. Okay, go stairs. I would go this way, because you stay on the angle. This is also fine. It's too far away. You need to go this way. You need to pressure the Juno. You need to drop, and you need to play this short angle. Don't worry about the touch. The hog can touch. This is okay. You're just stalling. That's a good borrow. And now just play for ult here. Don't get knifed. Again, no need to use your borrow here. You just stay here, fight the echo, shoot the queen, farm your ult. If you get knifed, then borrow. I mean, it happens, right? But then you look this way to see if the backline is close enough for you to do damage. Because the card is still gonna take a bit of time to reach the point of where you lose, right? So you don't need to rush anything right now. If you use your cooldowns right now, the fight is again going to start in the next 5 seconds. Because Arana is gonna nade, right? Arana is going to nade. So if she nades backline, you need your cooldowns to be able to commit for that. That's actually fine because you're contesting with the barrel. You get your ult here. Play slow. Go this way. Oh shoot, there's a venture here. Don't. It's okay because you're contesting. It's really rough because it's OT, so you have to touch with borrow. But if it wasn't OT, I would rather you not pursue people with your cooldowns. People that are 4 HP already. Okay, so to sum it up, because I'm out of time. When it comes to, actually, can I? I'm discovering this app. This probably sound like a boomer. Anyway, I don't know how you use text on this piece of crap. When it comes to timing, because that is what you asked about, you need to look for key cooldowns. For key cooldowns that your team or the enemy team is committing, that's going to tell when the fight is starting. And you can also benefit from or find a good angle, that is short range angle, for where the fight is going to start. Where the fight will start. Because if you can easily tell this, because you're masters, like you know where the bot is gonna be. You can look around and you can fight that short range flank. So when you're when the fight is starting, you're already in a good position to do damage. It's much less likely that you're gonna, if you're playing in that position from the start, it's much less likely that you're gonna chase a kill in the backline far away from your team and feed because you're going too early, right? But this is the most important one. You can also look at your teammates, look at what they're doing when you have downtime. In downtime, these are just 3 tips. Probably these ones are the best. In downtime, look at team, right? When you're borrowing, when you're reloading around the corner, look at your team, see what they're doing, because that's going to give you information what they're like intending to do. Are they getting out, or are they going in, are just staying on a corner? That's going to help you decide on what to do. When it comes to cooldowns, I noticed that sometimes you chase people, you use your cooldowns to get close to people that are like full HP and far away. You should just shoot whatever is available and close to you. And when it comes to probably the most important thing, setting up, just try to be creative. Pick a VOD and go back for like 3 fights. Like you could do this once a day or once a week or whatever. Pick a VOD and look at 3-4 fights and think where you could be instead. What is the best possible angle for you to play when the fight is starting, right? And if you do this enough, you're going to start noticing those positions in game easily, right? So find the short flanks. Okay, other than that, I don't have too much to say, because I don't have time. I have to wrap this up. If you have any other questions, then feel free to DM me on Discord or post a question on our Discord server. I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you next time. I guess I sound like a freaking 30-year-old YouTuber.